The new Sonic animation just came out and it gives a huge spotlight to Metal Sonic, showing that he's back to be the main villain, proving that he has the greatest potential to take on the entire Sonic team, even with Shadow helping them, and still give them a real beating. Man, this animation came out of nowhere, but I'm going to talk about it right now. Leave a like and comment here if you think Metal Sonic deserves all this attention. It's right on Sonic's official channel, called Memories and Beyond, and this 40-second clip is basically a teaser for a much bigger animation that SEGA is ready to release. For those who don't know, this segment here, it was released during an event called Anime Expo, where SEGA had a panel dedicated to Sonic. And there they announced some things that are much more related to merchandise, anniversary products for the Hedgehog, but like nothing related to new games or anything like that. But since it's a dedicated event, I think that in this panel, it was a good idea to try to show something new about Sonic. And that's where it happened. Sonic got this teaser because they made it very clear. It's going to be a full animation and it's an anniversary animation. This is the only official thing we know, alright? It's pretty straightforward, Eggman says. Take this, energize Metal Sonic here, and he goes off to attack everyone inside what must be Dr. Eggman's base. You can't really tell if it's a Death Egg or another base he might have put on Earth, but the thing is, the fight here is so intense that all the members of Team Sonic are here, with help from Rouge and Shadow as well. This fight here, man, is intense, because everyone is really coordinated, and they're beating up Metal Sonic until the moment he starts fighting back. Not to mention that he also starts releasing some blue energy sparks here, blue waves. And these bursts of electricity are pretty interesting, because we know that since the Sonic movie, SEGA has been taking a lot of these ideas and references that the movie Sonic brought. The thing about him having electric bolts coming out of his body, like, it was added as DLC in Sonic Colors, it's in Sonic Frontiers when you get the maximum rings, and now it's here as another energy reference, which now is with Metal Sonic. Man, Metal Sonic hasn't had a big spotlight in the games, I think I can say, since Sonic Heroes, because the appearances he had right after were mostly secondary. Maybe his best moment was when he showed up in Sonic Mania, in that animation that promoted the Sonic Mania Plus DLC, but he was pretty much left aside from then on, just having much simpler, smaller appearances. SEGA doesn't give him much attention. We don't really know why. Maybe it's more because they don't really have much idea what to do with this character. Man, when he showed up, for example, in Sonic Heroes, it was pretty much his rebirth, where he became Neo Metal Sonic. He breaks free from Eggman's control and comes up with a plan to get all the combat data from all of Sonic's teams, and he was ready to fight all of them. But he's defeated in the end and goes back to his humble form, which he deserves. But a lot of people remember him this way because it's the first time we hear him speak, but since then, he's only appeared as a minor boss. In Sonic Generations, his boss fight was very simple, redoing his epic battle from Sonic CD against classic Sonic, and he got a bit of attention in the short animation. There was one in Sonic Colors Ultimate, because the new mode in that game was to have a race against Metal Sonic, and that was it. In fact, this detail in the story isn't even canon, to be honest, since it wasn't in the original game and the game doesn't have any significant changes because of it. The thing is, a lot of people started speculating that this detail from the animation is actually a new sign that he's going to get some spotlight in an upcoming Sonic game. To be honest, I don't put anything past SEGA anymore, okay? SEGA keeps trying all sorts of things, and we know that even though they have a bunch of other robots, Metal Sonic is the only Sonic robot that's going to end up getting the spotlight, either to come back as a big villain, or to be another recycled weapon for Eggman. But there's another thing too. Now we know that the next Sonic movie is coming soon, it's less than a year away, and pretty soon the first trailers will start coming out, and this movie is going to highlight Metal Sonic. His role is already set, we know there's going to be a horde of robots, but we don't know exactly how far he's going to go in that movie. The fourth Sonic movie is the film that's really going to give him the spotlight, and I believe a lot of people will get to know him there for the first time, because there are people who only watch the Sonic movies, only watch the animations, but don't know the games, and that's the big problem. SEGA is going to use this to attract a new crowd, because since Metal Sonic has this big appeal, he has the potential to be a big highlight for many people who are getting to know Sonic through the movies, with him getting the spotlight. In a game, it's also, man, a way to get more people familiar with the world of Sonic games. Now, stopping to analyze this clip, Eggman does give Metal Sonic a boost of energy, and when he does that, messing around here with the control panel, we notice that in the animation he was just getting this wave of energy until he was activated. it. When Metal Sonic is in this activation mode, he becomes much faster than he actually is. Because we know that in terms of power levels, Metal Sonic is as fast as Sonic, but he's not as smart. He's just a mechanical brute. And even so, he's never been able to defeat Sonic at any point. But he always gave some kind of trouble. That's the big difference here. This animation, man, got the fans really excited because he ended up getting this spotlight as a guy who even gives Shadow a hard time. And everyone ended up joining forces here to fight against him. The problem is that we don't really know what exactly caused this surge of power that Metal Sonic ended up getting. Like, everything seems to indicate that the whole Sonic crew, along with Shadow and Rouge, are basically fighting against Eggman, who may have gotten a new source of energy. And this source of energy was redirected to Metal Sonic, precisely because this is the new plan that Eggman ended up coming up with. Now, the thing is that he ends up taking so many hits and he still remains tough too. And this kind of electric power that basically lets him withstand punches from Knuckles is pretty much insane. Not to mention that this little punch scene is literally something straight out of the movies. I think that's impressive now. The point is, the Sonic movie really has brought great results for SEGA. But SEGA is taking everything from the Sonic movie and shoving it down our throats in their own games. Actually, it should be the other way around. Because the moment SEGA starts taking inspiration only from the Sonic movies to make Sonic games and Sonic animations, where is the movie going to get its inspiration from? That's the fear. So like, the games should be the source for Sonic, not the movies anyway. I know there are references, but it's not the first time we've seen this. This is a bit worrying when we talk about the future of this series. Now, another concern I have with this series, or this animation, is whether it's really going to be connected to the new game, alright? I know that Sonic's 35th anniversary wasn't a big deal. A lot of people were waiting for something to happen, and so far, the celebrations have been pretty simple. Come on, SEGA released 2 big games. Like, there was a year when Sonic Mania and Sonic Forces were released just months apart in the same year. Sonic Colossus ended up coming out, but it was during the pandemic, so people forgave it. And so, Sonic fans start picking up on all the references and things that have happened in the past with the Hedgehog. Things like, for example, images or even suspicions that Sonic Heroes was going to get some kind of remake. In my wildest imagination, this animation here could show that Metal Sonic was really powered up, but with nothing special. He fought against several members of Team Sonic and ended up losing. But this here would have nothing to do with those rumors that SEGA was making a remake of Sonic Heroes. I believe that you, who have been following me on this channel for a long time, know that I don't really believe in that possibility anymore. Although a remake of that game would be great. This animation already throws all of that out the window, because if they were remaking Sonic Heroes, Shadow shouldn't be here. Now, going back a little in time, we have to remember that SEGA also had those leaks about a possible game called Sonic Eclipse. That game had the potential to bring Sonic traveling between 2 dimensions, in a kind of open world. It would be the direct sequel to Sonic Frontiers, and it would have a very large cast of characters. Not just the whole Sonic crew, Shadow, Silver, but also that cast of characters from the Sonic comics by IDW. I know we have this suspicion because a lot of the things that leaked actually turned out to be true, but many things simply never happened. I'm telling you this because SEGA has been planning and dealing with leaks for a long time. Man, even today we end up discovering things about the first and second Sonic games that were being made on a much larger scale than what they actually turned out to be. So I imagine that things like this also happen with more recent games. Even though they're being careful, things pretty much still get leaked. Like, we knew everything that was in Sonic Frontiers, even the content that was deleted before, years before the game was released. So, okay, I'm guessing this has something to do with some project related to Sonic's new game, Frontiers 2 or the Eclipse that people talk about. No, I think it's going to be another animation where they just hire studios to make it. What's strange is that it would be an animation that's not related to any other game. But that's happened before. Like, if I look back at the series past, we remember that animation from Chow Tales, or Chow Tales. Basically, this series here had appeared as a rumor of being a game, but actually it ended up just becoming a series of shorts released on Sonic's official channel, you know? And they never went anywhere after that. I even tell you that if any of those rumors about a Chow mobile game were actually real, it was simply cancelled and what was left was just the animation, and an unpublished animation at that, because it was already finished, with no commitment to the game, you know? But the thing is, now we have the chance to at least see Sonic's moment of glory animated, right? Against Metal Sonic. And Metal Sonic, he hasn't looked this threatening in animation maybe since the time he appeared in that Japanese movie, Sonic OVA, which shows Metal Sonic being built and fighting to the death against classic Sonic. And he really ends up giving the Hedgehog a hard time, and basically their fight goes all the way to the end. And it was also the end for him in that saga. So, this movie isn't canon, but it's really good. Even so, I'm really curious to see where SEGA wants to go with this project, this animation. It doesn't have an announcement date yet, but SEGA has already made it clear that there are more things to be released. I just think it's strange the way they're releasing the information. I'm not betting that there will be a Sonic Central yet, but it would be really good if SEGA did some kind of event, online. Because SEGA isn't just Sonic, they make a lot of other games. There are a lot of games that are, being talked about behind the scenes. We just saw the official trailer for Crazy Taxi. There are other games from them that also have leaked gameplay out there. Anyway, there's still a lot to happen, and this is just a spark of what's coming in the next few months. So, just stay calm and pay attention, and leave a like, comment here if you're excited about this Sonic animation. And remember to subscribe, because when it comes out, this new animation will have references, and I'll talk about everything with you here on the channel. And if you comment, you'll know when this video comes out. Because only by engaging will you get these videos here on the channel. Thank you very much, thanks, I'm out, see you in the next video.